grew up on the south side of Chicago. For those of you who know how there's the North Shore, right? And then there's the south side where I grew up. And my dad owned a tavern down on 87th Street. Classic grumpy old man tavern. One woman always, Rose Duffy. Rose Duffy always hung out at my dad's tavern. The rest were all cops and firemen who were mostly my cousins and my uncles, right? So blacked out windows, German Shepherd behind the bar, jukebox, pool table. My mom was a Polish housekeeper. Still Polish, no longer a housekeeper. So this is how I grew up, right? So went to a bunch of years of junior colleges as I moved around in my Marriott career. I was VP of National Account Sales with Marriott, so I moved like crazy. The whole time I was moving, I was going to night school and these crummy little junior colleges, taking crummy little English 101 classes, and worked my way up. And then I applied for Kellogg. I really didn't know what it was, to be quite honest with you. I applied for it because the campus in Evanston is beautiful, and I lived reasonably close. And I was like, would I have known what it was? The South Sider in me never would have even walked in the door. So I got in, and I'm there the very first day of class, and there's about 70 of us. And Don Jacobs, who was the dean of Kellogg at the time, Don Jacobs, a very bright man. They call him the dean's dean, right? Old school railroad guy, very bright old school railroad guy. So Don Jacobs, and this was the executive master's program, and so we got to hear the dean speak. And so Don Jacobs came and addressed all of us. And by the way, I'm sitting in a chair similar to the chairs you're sitting in, and I'm thinking, some of you have felt this in your life. I am the one person out of 72 that does not belong here. Somehow, and I'm not kidding, that's exactly, I thought there was this big neon sign over my head saying, he slipped in, somehow the requirements to get in, right? Something screwed up in their process, and I really was absolutely panicking. So Don Jacobs walks in, he walks up to the podium, he drops down 2 armloads of annual reports, and he says, these guys over here, they all lost money last year. These other guys, they made money. And I'm thinking, 9 years of night school, and I have my father speaking to me now, right? I worked this hard to get here. And so he opens up one of the annual reports from one of these guys who made money, and he gets to the picture of the CEO with the explanation, right, on the left side. And he reads a few pages or a few sentences of what this CEO had to say. He reads 2 or 3 of the guys who made money. He comes over here, reads 2 or 3 of the messages from CEOs who lost money. What's your gut on this? All the people who made money, why did they make money? What do you think the messaging was? It's not a trick question.
They're really good at what they do.
We're really good at what we do, our management strategies, our people, blah, blah, blah. How about these guys over here that lost money? What's it? Market conditions, the equivalent of my dog peed on my homework. Right? Every single one that he read through. And there's like, for those of you who have been to, whether it's training classes or undergrad or grad school, you remember 2 or 3 things, and I remember this one. And what Don Jacobs said is, you guys, you executives, you take too much credit for your successes, and you blame too much of your failures on other people. And if you want to be a really good business person, you need to be more objective about both. And I tell you this story now because we're about to debrief the planning and the execution and the outcomes of what you just did. And it's either because I'm a terrible consultant, the case study was stupid, you didn't have enough time, it's not what you do on a daily basis, or what you could really do that will really help you is, you know, just in here, think about, oh, wow, I did that, that was great, I should do that again. I did that by accident, I should try to do that on purpose. Or, you know, I made this mistake, I don't want to do that again. It's the best thing that you can do with your time between now and 11:30.